Greywick was the kind of town that liked its stories simple. Good people, bad people, clear lines, clean consciences. And for as long as anyone could remember, Elias Crow had filled the role of the bad one. He lived in the last house before the woods swallowed the road, a narrow, crooked place with boarded windows and a fence that leaned like it was tired of standing. He'd moved to Greywick 20 years earlier, quiet and already old-looking, and never bothered to explain himself. He worked odd jobs, paid in cash, spoke only when spoken to, and even men. Sparingly, that was enough in Greywick. Silence was suspicious, children dared each other to touch his gate, teenagers threw stones at his roof and ran laughing into the dark. Adults lowered their voices when he passed, as if he might overhear secrets he already knew. When something went wrong, Elias Crow's name floated up naturally like smoke. When the Miller boy vanished for 2 nights before returning unharmed, shaken and silent, people whispered Elias had taken him when the church donation box came up short. Fingers pointed toward the edge of town. When someone found dead birds nailed to a barn door, a cruel prank, no one claimed. People said, "That's his kind of thing." No one ever proved it. No one ever needed to. Sheriff Mara Bell arrived in Greywick 10 years ago, young and hopeful. Believing evidence mattered more than rumor. Elias was one of her first interviews. She still remembered it clearly. He'd sat at his small kitchen table, hands folded, tea untouched. "I know what they say about me," he'd told her calmly. "It's easier than looking closer." "Looking at what?" she'd asked. Elias had smiled, thin and sad, each other after that. She questioned him whenever something happened, fires, theft, threats slipped under doors, each time his answers were precise, thoughtful, consistent. Each time, the town grew angrier that he kept getting away with it. Until the morning he didn't. The call came just after sunrise, when frost still glazed the fields. A delivery driver had noticed Elias's front door standing open. Sheriff Bell arrived to find the house quiet to quiet. Elias Crow lay on the kitchen floor, eyes closed, as if resting. A chair was tipped beside him, a cup shattered near his hand. No blood, no weapon in sight, just the unmistakable stillness of someone who would never speak again. The news spread fast. People gathered in small knots along the street, whispering not with fear but with relief. While someone muttered, "That's that." Others looked unsettled, glancing over their shoulders as if expecting Elias to rise and accuse them. Sheriff Bell felt something twist in her chest. Elias Crow was dead, and Greywick felt lighter. That bothered her. The autopsy showed no signs of a break-in, no forced entry. The cause of death wasn't obvious. Whatever had killed him had been subtle deliberate. Sheriff Bell began asking questions, and Greywick began slipping. The butcher admitted Elias had confronted him about missing livestock. The schoolteacher confessed Elias had warned her about falsified attendance records tied to Grant. Money, the baker turned pale when asked why Elias had been seen near his cellar so often. He was snooping, the baker snapped, always watching, always writing things down. Writing, that word stayed with Sheriff Bell. She returned to Elias's house that night and searched more carefully, beneath loose floorboards. She found notebooks, dozens of them. Meticulous handwriting filled every page. Dates, names, times. Small crimes at first, then larger ones, things Greywick had buried, things people pretended never happened, bribes, arson, abuse hidden behind smiles and church attendance, patterns no one wanted connected. Elias Crow hadn't been a criminal, he'd been a witness, and Greywick had known it, slowly, quietly, enough to decide he was dangerous. When Sheriff Bell made the arrest weeks later, no one asked questions, no one demanded proof. They just nodded, resigned. The man led away wasn't a monster. He was ordinary, friendly, trusted. Greywick watched him go in silence. Elias Crow was buried on a cold afternoon, just beyond the trees. Only Sheriff Bell attended. She placed one of his notebooks beside the grave, unsure whether it was a tribute or an apology. As she walked back toward town, she noticed something strange. People smiled at her again, laughed, talked freely. Greywick felt safe, not because justice had been served, but because no one was watching anymore. And Sheriff Mara Bell wondered how long it would be before the town needed a new villain.